Okay, you guys, so we are back with another video. In this video, we are going to talk about Stefon Diggs and his off-white blue-eyed chick. That's what the internet is calling Christopher Blake. And honey, I find it to be real funny. Like, the internet never ceased to amaze me. Never. But because the internet called Christopher Blake, Stefon Diggs, off-white, blue-eyed chick, Cardi B is calling him an albino lizard. Like, that woman, I don't know what's wrong with her. Or, you know what? Let me not say anything is wrong with that woman because nothing is wrong with her. She's doing okay, I believe. No. We're going to talk about the text message that is currently being discussed, the DM that was shared, or I think it was text message, right? Because you know what the Barbs are doing? The Barbs, they're spinning everything on Cardi B. Like, when Cardi B said Nicki was on drugs, so now that she's crashing out and she's going back and forth with Christopher Blake, the internet is like, oh, she's behaving like that because she's on the white powder. Like, she's gonna address that if she hasn't addressed it as yet, because it seems as though Cardi hasn't figured out that the Barbs are kids. Can you imagine you're on the internet beefing with a bunch of kids? Honey, who argues with kids? I was watching a video of DJ Academics, right? And what Academics was speaking about is the time when Jay-Z did the freestyle, clapping back at Nicki, and DJ Academics was saying it was after that, it was some time ago that Jay-Z had allegedly done a freestyle going in on Nicki. Many critics were looking for Nicki to respond to Jay-Z, but she didn't, because Nicki was not going to help to revive Jay-Z's career. So Academics was saying Nicki was smart in not responding to Jay-Z. And Academics was saying it was that time that the rumor started that Nicki was mentally unwell. Can you imagine? Academics that does commentary about artists, the music industry, what's trending on YouTube. Can you imagine watching Academics speaking positive on Nicki? But irrespective of the fact that he was speaking positive on Nicki, he said he's gonna choose his words carefully because he doesn't want to feed anything to the Barbs. And when Academics said that, I was like, oh, so he knows. So Barney is the only one who hasn't figured this shit out yet. Like, I'm like, okay. So Barney's the only one who hasn't figured out that these kids have nothing to lose. Honey, if I'm passing a group of kids, listen, if I'm passing a group of kids, I'm Mother Teresa. I'm Mother Teresa. If they say anything, even if they're saying it about me, who boo boo, they ain't talking to me. I'm gonna ensure that I pass and I'm like, hello kids, y'all are so beautiful. You all are so pretty, honey. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that. These children have nothing to lose. You think I'm gonna argue with those rugrats? They'll end your entire existence and get away with it because they're gonna say they're kids. That's what kids do. You can't pay children any mind, but what's your excuse? Like, you're gonna be the bad person at the end of the day. And then you're gonna feel like shit. So I'm just saying, no, the Barbs are out here saying that Barney's on the white powder, and I'm like, oh damn, they're getting under Barney's skin. And when they do, Barney is gonna come swinging at them. And for her sake, I hope she does it, because Who wants to play with the barbs? You know, the barbs are funny as hell. And when Cardi B's over there sending up her BP, the barbs are laughing because all of this is entertainment for them. All of it is entertainment. But Barney can't see that, right? But as I was saying, the Christopher Blake leaking or revealing DMs or text messages, right? So he shared message or communication between him and Diggs, wherein Stefon Diggs allegedly sent him a message or DM, said, you know, come over, I can't wait to bust your assets. And he's like, LOL, I love your confidence. And, you know, they say something else after that. I believe I have a screenshot of it. And if I don't, most of you already know what I'm talking about, right? No. It is said that Barney responded to those messages saying it's no evidence that Stefon Diggs and Christopher Blake were intimate. And I'm saying that this is how I look at life. I don't know about you guys, but I'm realistic, right? It doesn't matter what the text messages are saying, because behind those text messages, there was a bigger picture. And it was the pictures that were being shared on the internet of Stefon Diggs and Blake Griffith, right? Or Christopher Blake. And the bigger picture was that Stefon Diggs looked a lot happier. Whether they were just pals, bromance as some call it, DL whisperer, swinging both sides of the fence, straddling both sides. It doesn't matter what you may call it. Stefon Diggs looked a lot happier and healthier around Christopher Blake. And you cannot dispute that. Even how when, you know, I look at one photo and I got the sense that it was Christopher Blake who was saying something. And Stefon was like very into whatever conversation they were having, right? And I'm not insinuating that the conversation was salacious. You could tell that Stefon Diggs really liked the guy. You could tell that he valued their friendship. And vice versa. So, let me be honest about the text messages as well, because some of you might be saying, but don't you think that the messages don't mean anything intimate? Based on what I have read, the messages don't mean anything intimate. Like, gay people, they don't speak like that. I'm gonna do this. Straight men speak like that. Those conversations are from arrogant ass straight men. When arrogant ass straight men are speaking to women, they think that those conversation makes them a man. I'm a man. I'm big. I'm tough. I'm strong. And I'm gonna damage you, because if I don't damage a woman, ain't no way I can feel like a man. If I don't embarrass you, if I don't ruin your entire existence, ain't no way I'm a man. So man, the heterosexual man, that's how they talk. Because if they don't damage you physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, many of them don't feel like a man, because they have to prey on a woman to feel like a man. So gay people really don't talk like that when it comes to intimacy. They have some really nice ways and even if, you know, some of them who love to get it in on the first date, they'll be like, hey, meet me in the bathroom so I can show you, you know, what dreams are made of. Stuff like that. So I don't believe the text messages denote anything intimate or is saying anything, you know. But there's one thing that no one can deny, and that is the images. They show that something was very unique about the two being in a friendship, partnership, business deal, working with each other, and they had chemistry. And every time you look at their photos together and you realize, if you look into their eyes, it was like they were so happy, and they enjoyed each other's company, each other's energy so much. And looking at everything that is going on now, it's just sad, It's just sad that they could not work things out other than this way. And when you look at their photos and how things have played out, it makes you want to have both of them on a Netflix documentary telling the truth about what really happened. Because, listen, if you like someone that much, right, and the person stole from you, there are certain things that makes people or get people truly angry. For some of us, it is people telling lies on us. And for some of us, it's for us to give our trust to someone, and that person that we give our trust to then steals from us. We're like, but what did we do? We were so kind to you. We were so caring. You had no reason to do that, right? So while I understand that, if you cared about the person so deeply, and you claim that the person stole from you, it gives you no right to send your brother and his goons to beat up the guy. And Christopher Blake wasn't beaten up once, he was beaten up twice. And let's say he did not send his brother and his goons to beat up the guy. When it happened the first time, did you say, yo bro, you're gonna let your attorney reach out to Christopher's attorney and make this right, because you had no right to do that. What he did was wrong, but you had no right to do that, because the truth is no one has any right to put their hands on someone. So the mere fact that this guy was beaten up, and the mere fact that they were so close, it makes you want to believe there was intimacy involved. Even if there was no intimacy, it makes you want to believe intimacy was involved. Because the only time we see relationships going this bad so quickly is normally when there's intimacy involved. You know how they say? It's a thin line between love and hate. And when it is used in that sense, they're not talking about friendship love. They're talking about intimacy love. Based on how they beat up that guy, it makes you believe something greater went down. Because if you love your friend, and if you respect your friend, and if your friend has brought good to your life, and then you caught your friend stealing from you, what your friend was stealing from you was clothing, right? Allegedly, and based on the allegations. So you're telling me that your few pieces of clothes were so valuable and so meaningful that you would send someone to attack that person, beat them up not only once but twice, and strip them naked. You could have literally cost that man his life over material things. It gives the sense that the matter is way more sensitive. So, is it that Christopher Blake made advances to Stefon Diggs, and Stefon Diggs was like, boy, I'm not feeling that kind of way. Or, I'm feeling that kind of way, but you're not my kind of person, right? But if Christopher Blake made a move on Stefon Diggs, and Stefon Diggs was not feeling that kind of way, why would you get the guy beaten up You know, when people get someone beaten up, it gives a sense that you have been, you know how some men get bitter after they try to win a woman and they take her, like he takes her on expensive dates. He buys her expensive things, designers, the old 9 yard, you know, give her extra money outside of their contract. So the guy believes that, okay, if I've been sugaring you, honey, it's time for you to give me some sugar. But then when he makes advances towards her, she was like, oh no, this is just business. Let's keep it professional. And have you ever heard the stories from women when they talk about men giving them things, buying them gifts, taking them on dates? And then because they refuse to go intimate with the guy will then get angry, violent, and aggressive. That is what this situation is giving. Because why would you get aggressive at Christopher Blake for stealing clothes till you want to beat him up, get him robbed, not just once, but twice? Why would you jeopardize your your entire career if emotions, deep emotions weren't involved? And that is why people are finding it so hard to believe that ain't no way Stefon Diggs did not do what this guy is accusing him of doing. People are saying that when you get someone beaten up in that sense, it's like a crime of passion. You were passionate about this person. You were misled to think that this person was passionate about you when he was taking you on a stroll all along. And that is why people believe it happened. And you can't force people not to believe it. You can't tell people not to believe it, especially women, because we know when that happens, it is because of men making advances, and they believe that they have invested enough to make advances. And when they make advances and they get the rejection, they can't handle rejection. And that is why women are always saying men can't handle rejection, because they get violent and aggressive. And then the aggression is coming from Diggs, and people are like, so if it's not rejection, why were you so violent and angry by way of getting this man beaten up? Why did you have to do that? Because he stole from you? But why didn't you take it to the police? Why didn't you get him sued? Why did you have to get him beaten up? Because even if he stole from you, it doesn't give you the right to be putting your hands on him or paying other people to be putting their hands on him and then stripping him nude. That is like a lesson. Do you know how men do horrible things to women when they can't get them? That's the behavior that it's given. Everything that happened to Christopher Blake, it's given that sense. Not saying that's what, but that is how the women are looking at it, and it's why so many people believe Christopher Blake. And no matter what Cardi B tries to prove out of court, because she took it to the court of public opinion, for what reason, we don't know. We don't know, boo-boo. We don't know. But I love Christopher's fight in all of this, because even if the messages don't make sense to most of us, he knows that he's still doing something and he's creating an impact. And Barney's not going to win. This is one war she won't be able to win. And I keep saying she's not going to win this. She can't win this. But let me know what you guys think, and we're going to talk some more. Peace.